Coach Germany, and it's nice to see you again all here on a Wednesday in the afternoon. So, my name is Lisa, I'm Job Coach Germany, and I'm talking about different aspects about the job application process. And today I picked a topic that is very important and interesting, and I have to admit that I underestimated this fact and I underestimated how important this aspect about the job application process actually is. Oh, and Vince is here. Hello! Thank you very much for joining me here. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me and just ask me in between. So, something that I would like to address today is the fact of having panic attacks or being afraid with regards to your job applications. And you can get this feeling of overwhelmedness at any time during the job application process, to be honest. And the reason why I'm addressing that right now is because I'm working with obviously several of my clients, and I just realized today when working with one of my clients that this topic is very sensitive and that this topic is actually very important to discuss and that we need to talk about that because many of my clients, if not all, have encountered this fright, this being afraid of applying, and actually it's the fear of being rejected. And obviously this topic is so sensitive due to the fact that it's very normal for us, unfortunately, that we combine the feeling of neglect or the feeling of the rejection of a job or that we receive from a company as a personal attack, and we feel that we don't really have the value that it needs for this job, but you don't actually know what's happening behind closed doors. How do you know what the recruiters are saying and how they are evaluating actually your job application documents, or how are they actually evaluating what you said during the job interview? And now I just would like to share some experiences that I have encountered, that many of my clients have encountered, and what you actually can do in order to prevent yourself from having a total disaster, but actually enjoying the process of the application, actually enjoying the process or the job interview itself, for example. So maybe a little bit of background knowledge. What I normally do during my coachings is I have several aspects that I cover with my services. And first of all, obviously, I support my clients with job application documents, which basically means, first of all, we start finding out what the right job actually is, what they are looking for, and what their needs are, what the needs of my client are. And then we find out where can we find those jobs, in which city, which area, and where in Germany, which company, and so on. And then obviously I support my clients with the preparation of the covering letter and the CV. And then once all of these steps are done, typically the documents are sent to the company, and then the client waits and sees what happens. And in the meantime, we both prep within the group setting, we all prep for the job interview, and we share experiences and find out what kind of answers might be asked during the interview, how can we prepare for the interview. And then the final step that I offer all of my clients are something that I call mock job interviews. So it's basically a real life setting of a job interview, and that basically means they get a huge preparation beforehand about what a job interview looks like, how the process works, and how the job interview is like how the agenda looks like of a job interview, and then they get certain tasks that they need to prepare before the mock job interview. And then once we have this meeting or the mock job interview, it basically looks like a real life interview, and that's why I'm doing that. I'm an HR lady, right? I've told you beforehand, but if you don't know who I am, I'm Lisa, and I have been working in the HR recruiting field for many, many years. And I started out working in the tourist industry when I was still working for a travel agency, and then I moved on to the automotive industry, and then IT industry, back to automotive industry, and I was working in different departments of the HR department when I was screening and evaluating job application documents, and I was also conducting job interviews. And then also I supported in my departments, I supported with people development. So basically, what kind of skills do the colleagues have within that department, and what kind of skills do they need for the future in order to support them with their jobs. So this was basically my job, and this is how I learned over the past, it's nearly 10 years now that I've been working in HR actually, and that's how I found out what the HR perspective actually looks like when they are screening. So when we as the recruiters, or we at the HR department, how we are actually evaluating your documents and how we are evaluating the answers of a candidate once this candidate is in the job interview. And this is what I share with my clients during a mock job interview as well. So basically, we had the mock job interview. It feels like a real life interview. I am the HR lady. I ask the questions, and then after that, we make a cut, and then I give them the evaluation. I give my clients the evaluation of the answers that they have given and improvements, what they could do, what they can say in order to make sure they make a great impression during the job interview. So, and this is basically what is happening right now, what I'm doing with my clients. And so we are right in the preparation phase. And then one of my clients just tells me that she's afraid and was not actually able to prepare for the mock job interview. So, and this is totally understandable. And I didn't have any negative thoughts whatsoever when she contacted me about that. However, obviously I want to take this pain away of my clients. I want to ease this fear of being inferior just because you have to prove yourself in front of a company. And something that is happening when you're nervous and when you're afraid and when you have something like stage fright is that you you are not calm anymore, and the adrenaline just simply pumps into your cells, and then your thoughts are all over the place and your mind plays tricks on you. And there are some things that you can do in order to prevent yourself from having a final or having a total shutdown just before the job interview. And something that might be very interesting to some of you with regards to the word stage fright. In German, we call it Lampenfieber. And if you translate it literally, it means lamp or light fever. So it's the fever that you get because there is light. And what do you have when you are on stage? You are in the light, you are in the presence, and that is what is happening when you're in the job interview as well. The light is focusing on you and you are being asked. They are asking questions and they want to find out whether you are the right fit for the team, whether you are the right fit for the company, and what you can actually do to support the company and to strive forwards with them. Now, obviously, there are people, typically everybody of us has a certain type of confidence, and this is how you should go into each and every job interview. You should think about, I'm great, the company is great, let's be great together. I cannot stress this fact often enough, but this is actually how you should go into the job interview. But it's totally normal that you are a little bit afraid. And this can happen during the process of preparation for the job interview, but it could also happen right before the job interview or just during the job interview. But simply try to breathe and use the steps that I give you now in order to just get back into this state of calmness and get some of the power back to yourself, so your confidence, right? So that you don't have to be afraid in order to really get that job. You also need to keep in mind that, of course, you are trying to sell yourself to the company, but what is the company doing in return? They have to sell themselves to you as well. So maybe a shift of your focus might help you with regards to preparing for the job interview. So what do I mean by that? I basically mean that, especially if this job is your dream job, you might think about it in that way. Oh, I really want this job. This is the perfect opportunity. I finally can start my career here in Germany, and this is where I want to go. This is how I want to live my life. And what if this job interview goes wrong? And then all of a sudden, this downward spiral starts and you're going downhill because your mind is playing those tricks on you that you don't need in this phase, right? Because you just want to convince them. You want to show them how great you are. So maybe the focus shouldn't be on this is the dream job and I really want this job, to how can this job and how can this company actually support me in my goal, in the vision that I have for my future? And how can this job actually help me, for example, with settling in Germany? How can this company support me in my move from wherever you are now to Germany? Because obviously this company is interested in you. Otherwise they wouldn't have invited you to the job interview. And of course, they want to make this process of moving to Germany as easy as possible for you. So think about it in that way as well. So you are selling yourself, but the company is selling themselves as well. And if you get the feeling that the company is not the right fit for you, well, there you go. Then you have your answer and you just simply keep on applying for other jobs where you see a more perfect fit for yourself, right? Even if you've thought for yourself for many, many years that this company might be the ideal employer and that they are perfect for you and your career and your vision, and then you realize during the job interview or even after the job interview, once you've slept a night over it, and then you realize the way how they treated you during the job interview is not the right thing for you, then this should ring an alarm bell for you, and then you should say, no, this is actually not the company that I want to work with. And then you just go on with your life and you keep preparing and keep applying for other jobs. So, but why do we actually have this nervousness? Why are we afraid of job interviews? Why are we afraid of being rejected from a company? First of all, these are the huge expectations that we have, right? So we expect this job to be ideal, and once I have this job, I'm going to be happy. I have everything in my life. But obviously, you need to try to be a little bit more realistic. A work contract is a little bit like a relationship. I said that before in one of the other lives, that in order for a relationship to work, you need to communicate and you need to tell the employer what you want and what you need in order to be happy. And the same happens for the company. So this is what they will do. They will tell you what they need from you in order for the company to strive, in order for the company to be healthy, in order for the company to make more profits, and so on. And with regards to that, it's not a fixed situation having this job. It doesn't really imply that you all of a sudden are happy in your life just because you have that job. Maybe you are happy for a period of time, but if you inside feel empty, this job is never going to fill up this emptiness. And this is something that you need to think about. If you really need this job in order to be happy, there is something else in your life that is not really supportive and that is not fulfilling for you. There's something missing and you need to find out what is missing. However, obviously, once you've made it to the job interview and you really get your job, then it's great for you and you're happy. But why should a rejection from this job make you feel any less worth? Because you are so valuable, and the things and the skills that you have and everything that you can offer to the company is so much worth. And if the company cannot see that, or maybe they have a different candidate that they simply want to go with, then there is a different company that actually knows what you're worth, and then they will probably be a more perfect fit for you than the company that you thought about in the first place. Another aspect that might cause this nervousness or this fear might be that you are in a financial need because you don't have a job currently, or you don't know how to support your family, or you don't know how to actually finance your lifestyle as in Germany or wherever you are living right now. And then this creates a kind of a demand on your end, and it also gives you the feeling of you are missing out. You need this job in order to be able to finance your life. And if you are in this position, it is very difficult to not make your expectations too high, basically. And this is something that you need to really limit yourself from, and you need to just simply disconnect from this thought of I need this job because I need the money. This is not how this is going to work with you for your job, and especially if you want to have a fulfilling life with your job, especially when you're spending 40 hours a week there. Then the third aspect why we're nervous during a job interview is the unknown situation. We simply don't know what's happening. Sometimes we receive an email telling us who is going to be at the interview and who's going to talk to us. And maybe we only get one person, and then you are in this situation and there are 3 or 4 people that are interviewing you. And this is simply a situation that we typically don't know, and that's why we are nervous, and we just simply want to flee from the situation. But there are obviously certain things that you can do in order to not be too nervous and simply feel comfortable and relaxed during the job interview and during the application phase and the process and the preparation of the job interview, for example. First of all, something that gives you a very good feeling is your clothing. So the attire that you're wearing, wear something that you feel comfortable in and confident. And here I don't care whether it's an interview in person or a video chat or a telephone interview. Treat each and every interview the same, and treat it professionally, and dress for the job, and dress for it as if you were going to the job interview in person. So typically that means you are wearing formal attire, right? You're wearing formal clothing, you're wearing business colors and so on. And this is something that you need to keep in mind. Once you're wearing this clothing, it gives you some self-confidence. It makes you feel professional already. So this is the first thing. Then, as I always say, preparation is key. So, and that basically means that if you're preparing for the job interview in detail, there is nothing that you can lose. If you go through the different questions that they might be asking, and you write down certain bullet points for yourself, or you write down full sentences and you practice your speech and so on. If you have prepared well enough, then there's nothing that you need to worry about. Obviously, there are certain recruiters who are always trying to trick you and who are trying to basically, they try to put you on the spot and they try to find a weak point, and then they want to see how you are reacting. So this is a normal thing. Hi Hira, it's nice of you to join me here. So basically the recruiters or the interviewers are trying to put you on the spot in order to find out how are you working and how are you actually acting in a stressful situation. And to them, the answer is not really as important as you might think, because in their head, they are already thinking about the next question that they can ask in order to put you on the spot again. But they just want to see how you're reacting and whether you're reacting in a calm way, or whether you're crying, whether you're shouting, whether you lose your temper and anything like that. That's what they are looking for. And so if you are preparing your job interview well enough, there's nothing you need to worry about. Then obviously there might be certain questions that are a little bit uncomfortable, like something, why have you quit your studies? Or why have you started studying 3 times in a row and never finished? Or they might ask, why have you ever done anything illegal or anything? And if you, for example, got a speeding ticket, that already is an illegal act, right? So something like that. And obviously these questions can cause the stress, which is why you're nervous, which is why you're being afraid of the job interview. But especially those triggers are the ones that you need to look out for during your preparation phase. So write down those uncomfortable questions that they might be asking, that you feel ashamed of, that you don't want to answer. Write down those questions and then think about a possible answer that makes you feel comfortable when saying that, when answering this question. So, and if you have, because if these questions are out of the picture, there's nothing you need to worry about anymore, right? Because you have prepared how you can answer this question. And obviously, if you don't know how to answer any of those questions, feel free to contact me and we can find a way of working together, and then I can support you with job interview preparation and with a mock job interview, for example. Then obviously there is, when you're nervous, your body language will show that you're nervous as well. And the thing that you can do, or that you need to think about as well, is that the recruiters and the interviewers know that you are nervous. And as I said that before in a different career coaching drop-in session, that at one point I had an interview where the recruiter asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the highest, how nervous I am, right? And I said I'm an 8. And then they asked, okay, what do we need to do in order to get to a 10 or to a 12 even? And that was the point when I was really, really nervous, right? And this is something that you need to prepare for as well. This is what they want to see. They want to see how are you reacting if they ask you stressful questions, and how is your body reacting? Are you sweating a lot? Are you just fiddling with your fingers, or are you maybe using really strange words or cuss words even, and so on? And this is something that they look out for, and then they simply evaluate the fact that obviously you are in a stressful situation, which is totally normal, which is totally fine. The recruiters know that you are nervous, but then they want to see your reaction, and that is what they will focus on, because they know that there is a huge spectrum of reactions that you can give, and then they see, okay, sweating a little bit, okay, that's fine, or maybe not really knowing how to answer the question. That's okay as well. But once you get loud, or you're screaming or yelling, or you're crying, this is basically something that they want to look out for, because that basically means that you cannot work under pressure. But they don't want to break you. That's not their intention. They just simply want to see how you are reacting in a stressful situation. And obviously a job interview is a stressful situation. So don't worry too much about your body language. the recruiters know that you're nervous, and your body language just simply is doing what your body language is doing. And basically what you can do is to prepare beforehand, to talk to yourself, look into the mirror and say, you are going to get this job because you are great. This company is great, and let's be great together. And this is what you need to tell yourself. Look in the mirror and say this to yourself and just feel very confident. And then also what you could do just before the job interview is maybe going for a little walk, doing a little exercise, just like walking steps. Not too much, because obviously you don't want to be sweating all over the show once you turn up to the interview. But you want to just get your body going a little bit, and a small walk or just a little bit of stretching just before the interview might be helpful for you. Then something that you need to keep in mind, and that is a huge stress factor, is being on time. So make sure that you are on time. You don't really want to be nervous just because you know that you're going to be late. And please don't rely on Deutsche Bahn, because I have heard so often that there have been trains that just weren't made, or the trains were cancelled, and so on. And this is something that you just want to avoid. And for that, you can think about going to the city a day ahead, or just make sure that you are in the city where you have your job interview a couple hours in advance. And then you go maybe into a coffee shop and have a tea, or just a water or anything like that. And then also make sure that you know where the entrance is, and that you know how long it takes for you to actually get there. Because just because you know where the company is doesn't really tell you how long you might need in order to get to the office. So let me tell you from one of my very first experiences when I had a job interview. I went to a huge factory, a huge plant, and I knew where the entrance was. And then I went to the entrance, and there were obviously security guards guarding the entrance, and they asked, okay, you have an appointment, okay, all right, we will contact somebody, and you need to go this way, that way, and then so on. I just, oh my gosh, like how much time does it need for me to get to that place? And it was roughly about 10 minutes walking distance from the gate to the actual office where I had to go. And that is something that you need to calculate, and maybe you can ask them beforehand from the point where you have to go. Basically, if that's a gate where you're meeting, or whether it's the plant, ask them how much time do you need in order to get to the actual office to be on time. Because sometimes you just can get lost on those plants because they are so huge. And then something else with regards to being in a cafe, and I highly recommend for you not to order coffee. Also during the job interview, if they offer you coffee, just simply ask for water. Get a water or anything that doesn't contain any caffeine, because the caffeine will kick in once you are in the job interview, and then your adrenaline kicks in again, and then you are right nervous again. So this is something that you don't need and that you don't want again. Then also something else that might happen is that you get a dry mouth. For that, you can also ask for a water, or for preparation in advance, just have a little sweet that you can have in your mouth, or like a chewing gum. But please remember to take it out just before the job interview. But it will basically make your mouth produce more saliva during that time when you are using the chewing gum or the little sweet. But during the job interview, obviously this is a no-go. Okay, and then two more things that you need to do is basically breathe in and breathe out. Maybe you have a breathing technique of like counting, like breathing in for 4 seconds, holding your holding your breath for 6 seconds, and then for 8 seconds you can just breathe out, and do that three to 4 times, and then you are a little bit more calm. And then obviously something that you need to do is smile. So take a look in the mirror and smile at yourself and tell yourself you're going to get this job. So I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions with regards to this topic, I know it's highly sensitive, and many people are even too ashamed and too afraid to talk about this topic. But obviously this topic is very, very important to talk about. So feel free to contact me if you have any questions with regards to that. And other than that, I just wanted to remind you all and let you all know that tonight at 6 p.m. I'm going live again on Facebook, and I'm going to interview Lavin, who is from Pop Your Cultural Cherry. He has a wonderful podcast for expats who are just moving to Germany and want to experience and learn more about the move to Germany, want to learn more about the culture. And I'm going to interview Lavin and ask him about all of the great impressions that he got just from moving to Germany, and what he can actually give you as an advice for your future once you have decided to come to Germany. So thank you very much for joining me here, and I see you guys tonight, hopefully, and then at the latest next week on Wednesday again for the next career coaching drop-in session. Thank you and bye-bye.